What are the best practices that will make the difference between a project that succeeds and one that fails? Here is a real-life example that will help you get a holistic view of all those best practices. So we have a customer that calls us. His project is getting off the rail. He's noted 3 things. First, it's the 3rd time that they postponed their implementation date. They also have managers and employees that aren't directly involved in the project who are totally demobilized. They're not showing up at any of the project events or project meetings. And lastly, there's a lot of negative rumors going around concerning the project. He's really concerned. So we're going to go and take a look at it and try to pinpoint exactly what the root cause is. In order to do that, we're going to do a scan of his project with our own tool. This is the Doit Model. It's been developed by Aplustransition. It's based on best practices and it's been thoroughly tested on a number of projects in a variety of clients. Now, let's take that model and go ask the right questions. So here we are at our client site. We're going to start asking questions. Have they determined why they needed to change? Is it clear where they're going? What's their target? What are the benefits they're expecting from it? Have they clearly defined their change in terms of what's changing? Who is it impacting? What are the consequences on these people? And have they also considered all the risks of that project to their operations? That being said now, have they considered in their transition process the impact on their culture? Also the context in which they're bringing that change. So now we'll look at the 10 accelerators in that model. Has senior management put in place the right governance to make sure that their project will be successful? Have they made sure they've got the capacity to realize it and to integrate their change with everything else happening in their business? Have they put in place the right sponsorship structure to make sure that their change is sponsored throughout the organization? And finally, have they made sure that everybody's aligned on why we're doing this, where we're going, and what the change is going to be? Now let's look at the methodology they're using. Do they have an approach in place to make sure that they know how to analyze the impacts, analyze the stakeholders, analyze the risks, and analyze the scope of the project? Once that's understood, it will allow them to put in place the good communication plan, make sure that they review their work organization accordingly, and also make sure that they have a sound training strategy in place. Have they done that? Finally, have all their managers got everything it takes to make sure it happens in their unit? Have they got the right abilities to raise awareness in their team, to manage the adoption of their people, and finally to coach and support them throughout that change? So here, our analysis allowed us to see that the root cause of the problem is capacity. They simply don't have the capacity to make it happen. It has a ripple effect. Because they don't have the capacity, sponsors aren't able to play their role. They just can't devote any time to it. And we're unable to get the key players together to finalize our detailed impacts analysis that will allow us to do other things. So we can clearly see that our most pressing issue is acting on capacity. Once we've done that, then our sponsors will be able to devote some time to playing their sponsorship role, and we'll be able to get everybody in a room and finalize this detailed analysis. That will have a ripple effect on the rest. As you can see, with a change management framework that is based on best practices, you'll never lose sight of the big picture. Not only that, you'll also be able to see how all the elements are interrelated. Finally, it's also compatible with any change management methodology. But most of all, it is a practical tool that will put you in action. I'm Manon Champagne, co-founder and president of Aplustransition.